It was the end of another stifling day in Washington, and the lights of the government buildings still glowed as Dominic LeBlanc, Canada's Minister of Trade, quietly left the American capital. There was no joint press statement, no warm photo ops for the media. In this case, silence spoke louder than any declaration. The negotiations that had brought officials from both countries together for days had reached a deadlock. Hopes for a deal that could prevent an escalation in the trade dispute faded with each failed meeting, and LeBlanc knew that, at this moment, Canada needed to redirect its focus. The conversations always circled back to the same issue, the tariffs imposed by the United States and the mounting pressure on key sectors of the Canadian economy. The recent hike to 35% on a wide range of products had triggered a red alert not only in Ottawa but across the entire country. Farmers, auto manufacturers, lumber producers, and tech companies all felt the weight of uncertainty, while consumers had already begun to notice subtle changes in the prices of essential goods. Even so, LeBlanc stood firm, reminding everyone that most Canadian exports remained protected under the rules of the USMCA, the trade agreement that governs commerce in North America. But he also knew that this protection was far from an absolute shield against the economic and political impacts on the horizon. In Ottawa, government teams were already preparing for the next phase. The priority would be to protect the most vulnerable sectors and support the workers who would inevitably be hit. Contingency plans were beginning to take shape, incentives for exporters to seek new markets, emergency credit lines for small and medium-sized businesses, and campaigns to encourage Canadians to buy locally. The watchword was resilience, but there was also a clear awareness that the coming months would require more than just endurance, they would demand strategic intelligence and an unusual capacity for adaptation. Meanwhile, across the border, the atmosphere was one of confidence and calculated pressure. The U.S. administration portrayed the tariffs as a negotiation tool, but also as a warning that it would not hesitate to further increase the cost of trade for partners it believed were not fully meeting American interests. This hardened stance made every attempt at rapprochement more tense and delicate. In the Canadian Parliament, opposition voices harshly criticized what they called Ottawa's slow and overly diplomatic response. To them, the lack of a stronger reaction risked sending the message that Canada was vulnerable and willing to yield under pressure. But for the Prime Minister and his cabinet, patience was part of a calculated strategy, keeping the door open for dialogue while shoring up the economy and national unity at home. The streets of Canada's major cities were also feeling the moment's weight. In Montreal, markets displayed signs encouraging the purchase of local goods. In Vancouver, business associations organized events to connect producers and consumers, reinforcing a sense of unity in the face of adversity. In Alberta, farmers sought alternative logistical routes to move their goods, aiming to reduce dependence on the U.S. market as much as possible. When LeBlanc returned to Ottawa, he brought with him more than just reports and diplomatic notes. He carried the certainty that this dispute would not be resolved quickly. Negotiations could resume, yes, but not before each side pushed the other to its limits. He understood that the challenge ahead was not only economic but also psychological, to maintain the confidence of business owners, workers, and the public that Canada had not only the means but also the determination to weather this storm. The next few weeks would be decisive. The threat of new tariffs hung in the air like a heavy cloud ready to break, and every diplomatic move would be scrutinized. International attention was fixed on the relationship between these two neighbors, and any sign of weakness could shift the course of negotiations. For LeBlanc and his government, this was the moment to strengthen alliances, diversify opportunities, and show that, even in the face of adversity, Canada remained ready to defend its interests and its future.